everybody to the show. My name is Petra and welcome to Tech Condo. Of course, you can support the show in the future on Patreon, but for now, you can also support me on this website that is coming right about now. It's Support Tech Condo on techcondo.net/support. In this stream, in this video, we will talk about something really cool, and that is that, I do a weekly show. I produce a show for the church, the local church, and I want to really be able to give it to you. I want to, lay out everything for you, pick my brain, that's it. So basically what I'm going to talk to you about is what I do, or we do, during the church stream here in Venray in the Netherlands. But this is also recorded live. So in case you are watching this after the fact, I am actually doing this on Saturday at 7 p.m. Central European time. And people are actually here. Like, for example, Kathleen, she says hello. I see Loom all the way from YouTube. Yep, you were on Facebook and on YouTube streaming live. And Rudy says ready when you are. It seems that I am ready to rock and roll, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, because I have a fantastic episode for you. This is again pre-recorded live, so might not be as perfectly structured as all those other videos, but one thing I can tell you is that at least it's honest, and you will see exactly how things are going. Now, this is a series. It will be a multitude of episodes that you are more than welcome to chime in. I will, if you have any questions, I will try to answer them. So please, if you have a comment, also after the fact, if you're not watching live, don't hesitate to just ask the questions. I am actually considering to combine maybe a few of those, maybe at the end of the video, or alternatively have a Q&A session once we have enough, questions to do that. So there's a whole roadmap to talk about, but I cannot put everything on one slide. However, I did create a roadmap for you. So that is right about, it's coming right there in a few seconds. There you go. That is the roadmap that we're going to talk about. Now, this roadmap is definitely not fully done. So you will see that arrow right there. That means that this roadmap is actually going to consider. It will continue to be added on, because in the very end, I want you to be able to create the same production value as I have, and hopefully even better, because I am actually still also learning, and I want you to learn with me. So today you can actually see that there's already a branch going on, and that branch is about the camera, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode. We're going to talk about the camera, because it all starts with bringing in, the camera, this video of the church. And that is what we're going to talk about. And what you will learn in this episode of Tech Condo, the church edition, is choosing your camera. So of course I have my own camera, and I will be talking about my camera. And you will also notice that along the lines there will be a lot of we all happen to have it, so we're using it. And that is totally fine. Start with what you're using. But I will also show you some other possibilities right here as well, for you to know what you can do. And also to help you with that, there is also something like, HDMI and SDI. I can imagine that you're like, there's a lot of abbreviations there. What are you talking about, Petra? What is this? HDMI, I know, but SDI, I don't know. I'm going to tell you today in this episode what those mean and what they can do for you. Then we will be talking about how to insert that video into your computer, because is that via your video card? No, it's not. So you have to have something else to do that. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, again, always about what I do. And then, of course, I will try to give you also some additional possibilities that you can do. And that last but not least, for this episode, we're gonna import it into vMix so that we can show that it is. Now, vMix is already installed on the laptop, but we will talk about where you can find it and that kind of stuff once we get there. So that is roadmap, and I'm really excited about that because that means that once this is done, we have a logo to create next week. We're going to do that fully on in Photoshop. We're creating something that you can use. I'm actually also going to provide it to you so you don't have to do it all by yourself. And then once that is done, you can actually go live. Yes, that one right there, that red dot there, that is a milestone. I wanted to bring you live as quickly as I could because I know how it goes. If you wait, you will always wait way too long before to go live because you really need to have that, let's say, in your fingers. You have to feel it. You have to try it out and do it for yourself. So it means that it will take some time for you to learn it. And it doesn't make sense to wait all the way to the end of all of the things that I need to talk to you about. That doesn't make sense. We will go live not next week, maybe already next week. So I will try my almost best to show how you can go live to Facebook and YouTube next week already. So we're adding a logo and we're going live. So I mean that is quite fast. So I am actually really stoked about it. But before, again, you can always ask questions in the meantime. And of course, we will be starting with choosing your camera. Well, that is one. So again, like I said, you always start with the camera that you have. And if that means that you have a phone to start with, just put it on a tripod and go live with this. Yes, you will not be able to bring in like additional graphics, but that is okay as long as we can bring that church to the people that want to see whatever is happening. So that phone will be a fantastic way of doing that. And it doesn't matter if it is like this one. This is an Apple iPhone 12. It can be iPhone 8. It doesn't have to be the latest and greatest. You can also use an Android device. It doesn't matter. You can just go live on Facebook or on YouTube. Well, YouTube it might be a little bit different because that's not from the get-go, but Facebook is quite easy to do. So that is definitely one that you can do. Well, I mean, the one that you already have that one in your pants or whatever. So that is something that you can do. Another one that we see quite a lot, and actually, I'm actually showing you a blast from the past because this is the camera that started everything for me. This is a Canon Vixia camcorder. It was about 250 euros, and it is a fantastic little camera. It has a flip out screen right there, as you can see, and it does have, and that is important, it has a way to monitor the audio with this, so you know what you're doing. But this particular model does not have, for example, a microphone input, and that is something that you want to look at. It is important that your audio is done in a good way. There are multiple ways of doing that. Later on in the roadmap, we will also talk about adding, for example, the Rodecaster or something, so a bit of more audio interfaces. But for now, as long as you can add a microphone on your camera, it makes it very easy to do that. Because if not, you might have some what they call synchronization issues, and that means that your audio and your video are not yet 100% synchronized, and that means that it goes like this and that looks very awkward. So that is one. But Petra, what is the camera that you use during your church service? Well, actually not one camera, but two cameras, but that's beside the point because we're going live with just one camera as quickly as we can. And I have the possibility to utilize this one that I have from the local radio station and TV station. This is a Sony PXW-X70. It's a 4K system, and it actually has what you can see right here. some XLR inputs. XLR inputs are those. Let me try to get that open for you. Of course, it's a little bit. There you go. This is an XLR input right there. Those are 3 pins, and that's actually professional grade audio. Now, what we do at the church is that we have a real microphone, a directional microphone, and we are actually picking up the audio like that, and then we're putting it right into this system. Again, we are at the moment in the corona situation, pandemic. Not a lot of people are allowed in the church, and also that means that we need to be as low-key as possible. Hence, we make it as easy as we can possibly do. Of course, we can bring in like 5 cameras, etc., but that is beside the point. Again, we are wanting to bring the church service to the people at home. That is a very nice camera because of that XLR. What is also great about this camera, and we're then going to pivot away to the second point, and that is, let me show that second point. Let me show the roadmap again so that you know where I am in the roadmap. That is the cable types, because that is really important as well. And the cable types are actually, of course, you got HDMI. We all know HDMI. Let me show HDMI for the sake of it. This is where is it? There it is. This is an HDMI cable, and I think that everybody has seen that one. It's on your game computer. It's on your TV. So it's basically all over the place. So almost all of the cameras have HDMI, and typically what you see is that the cheaper models have HDMI. The more expensive models have something that is called SDI, and that is this one right here. So that's a circular thing. That is a different beast. That's a different cable. And the thing is that let me get that organized here. The thing is that cable can be way longer than HDMI. HDMI typically reaches over like 5 meters, maybe 7 meters if you're lucky. But let's say it's just 5 meters to be as quick as close as we can. But SDI can reach like 50 meters, 60 meters without any problems. And that you can imagine that if you have to be all the way at the back of a church, then that makes it more sensible, right? That makes it easier. Now, it might be that you don't have the money to buy this kind of camera because it's quite an expensive camera. There are ways to extend your HDMI cable, so to go from HDMI to SDI and to go back to HDMI, and that is where these converters come into play. So this is a Blackmagic converter SDI to HDMI, so long cable to short cable, and there's also a HDMI to SDI. So it's basically the same box, but it will automatically also convert it back. For you at the moment, it will not bring any discomfort. If you are a bit top level, you will see that there are some issues that will arise because of that, like for example having a transparent background or something, but for you that is not important at the moment. This is something that you can use. These are micro converters by Blackmagic, but there are definitely also other brands that have it. AJA has a few of them as well. Decimator has a few as well. So it's all over the place. Atomos. There are a lot of different brands there for you. So you don't have to necessarily only have that one right there. So that is a possibility to extend your cable as well. So those are the two that are most important. HDMI and SDI. Now you will maybe hear NDI coming. That's a different thing. That's via Ethernet. But for now, I think that's more for advanced users. So let's just keep those two separate. HDMI, SDI. Those are the cables that you want to learn. So SDI is more for more expensive cameras. HDMI for cheaper cameras, but still very good cameras. Don't get me wrong. because I am actually using a A6400 Sony camera right here, and that has an HDMI output and not a SDI output. What is important though, what I almost forgot, is that you do need to verify if, and this is very important, that you get and that this is a term that you need to write down, a clean HDMI. Let me rephrase that again, or repeat that again. A clean HDMI. That is very important, because you don't want to have all of those graphics popping up. Like I am actually looking at my camera, and I see a box right here, and it's following me. And you don't want to have that on your screen, because you're going to go absolutely nuts because of that. So those are the cable types that are important for you. So, are you liking this content so far? Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you are seeing this after effect, please write down a comment, because I will be looking at it. I might be tempted to create a Q&A session later on. Moving on to inserting it into your computer. Now, this is a thing that I can imagine that you think, well, my computer has a video card, so that's, you just put it right there. That's an HDMI port, so you just put it right there and it should work. Sorry, a video card is video out, so it's from your computer to a monitor. It will not be able to insert or capture what is called capture your video. That is not possible. So you need to have something else. And there are multiple ways of doing that. I have in front of me on the desk, I have 3 different options. I will start with the biggest one, because even though I will show it to you on a laptop in a few minutes, the best streaming devices are still desktops. So that is important, and a desktop does have what we call a PCI slot. And a PCI slot allows you to bring in some additional hardware, like for example this one right here. This is the Decklink Duo 2. It has in this case 4 SDI inputs that can also act as outputs. So you can say it's an output or it's an input. There's 1/5 there. That 5th one is not SDI. It's what they call reference. Don't worry about it. It's only, you cannot use it. That's the, for you, that's a little bit of a different thing. So you have 4 inputs at the maximum, but you can also assign it to an output. And why you want to do that, that's not of concern for this training. That can be done for example, adding your output to, for example, the monitors that are in the church, for example. But it's a little bit out of scope for this training. So that is a capture card that you can actually put into your Windows computer. That's important. Windows computer. This is not possible to put into your Mac computer. So you do need to have something else for a Mac. So you have to have something external. Now it is possible to have an external box. So you can put this one into a Thunderbolt enclosure and then use it. That is definitely something that is possible. But that makes it a little bit more difficult, to be honest. Next to that, there are also these small boxes that you can find, and I happen to have here the HDMI, the U-tap. Now this one right here, as it states, has HDMI. So you put in your signal right here in the HDMI in. So with this cable, you just put it right here, click, and then on the other side, you put a USB 3 outputs, and that then goes into your computer right there. So this is just a USB stick right here, and I will be showing you what that looks like in a minute. So this is again the AJA UTAP HDMI. There's also an SDI version of that as well. So that is at least already 2 options that you have. The one that I actually use, or we actually use during our church service, is none of these 2. We're actually using a switcher. We're using the ATEM Mini right here. This is the entry-level ATEM Mini. It's 350 euros or something. It's quite inexpensive. It has even the possibility to have 4 inputs, and you can actually switch it live. So you have an HDMI out right here. Whoa. Come on. There you go. So you've got 4 inputs. You've got 1 HDMI output, but here you go, a webcam out. So you can actually connect this one, the USB-C, to your computer, and it will act as a webcam. Well, you know how that works, right? So you can actually see it. So that is really cool. So that is the way that we use it right here. This is the ATEM Mini, and this is the entry-level model. There is also an ATEM Pro that allows you to also see what you're switching, because it does only show 1 channel. So you do need to still check the camera outputs on the camera itself with this one. But if you purchase a newer version, a better version, like for example the ATEM Mini Pro or the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, or the new one, the ATEM Mini Extreme or the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, those can also show you what they call a multi-view, and that basically allows you to see smaller images so that you know what camera is registering. So that is what we have so far. Now, I actually am doing this live, so that means that people are actually able to talk to me during this video. So let's have a check about what people are saying. So I see Impartial Geek or David Foster. Have you been having any issues with the UTAP freezing up on you? I had to stop using them because of that. No, not the UTAP, but the TTAP. I actually have some issues with. David. So with the TTAP, which is that is actually a same kind of box, but it will automatically create like an external monitor, so you can actually externally import it somewhere else. That does not really work all the time. I actually have some audio dips in there on my laptop. I have not tried it on the desktop, to be honest. But the UTAP is very, very stable. I have not had any issues with that whatsoever. Maybe my other comment disappeared. It wasn't me. Didn't do anything. My comments keep going away. No, I did not do anything about it. Sorry, David. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Yes, we can say hi or ask questions. Yes, you can. Yes, Facebook is definitely broken lately. I totally agree with that statement. It's definitely a problem. It's the first time in weeks that I can actually fetch my comments again, so that is quite a challenge. So going back to the roadmap, so we already talked about so again, we have a roadmap. This roadmap is not full. You have a multitude of additional steps. Again, I'm talking from my personal perspective. It's not from your personal perspective or other people. It's just about how I do it, and you can pick my brain about the setup that we have, and I just want to be open and honest about it, what I find and what I can find. There are of course during the other shows of Taekwondo also other things that we will be talking about, definitely. So moving back to what we have, so a bit of a summary. So we started with choosing the camera. I showed you that we're using the Sony PXW X70, which has SDI, has HDMI, it has XLR, which is a audio interface, so it is a very professional camera. But I also showed you that you can definitely do it with the smaller sets as well, and of course also DSLR cameras. For example, the Sony range are really good. As a matter of fact, this is the Sony 6400 right there. Then we talked about the cable types. I showed you what HDMI was, what SDI was, and basically, to cut it short, HDMI, a consumer graded cable. You can use it pretty much everywhere. SDI is a professional grade camera cable, and the SDI will reach a longer distance, where a HDMI typically falls short at 5 to 7 meters. It's for SDI, it's 50-60 meters, so it's quite the difference right there. I showed you how to what kind of devices that you can use as an example, how to put it into your system. You can also use the Cam Link by Elgato, for example. There are a multitude of them, but there are so much. I just wanted to bring that up. And last but not least, I want to show you how to import it into vMix. This is another thing. So why vMix? Well, so basically vMix is a software-based switcher, and it allows you to bring in graphics like I just did, which is way easier than on a hardware switcher like, for example, this one right here. Is it stable? It's also stable, yes. And for a one-person shoot, it's perfect. It's really a fantastic piece of software. We also have access to, for example, Ecamm and Livestream Studio. But definitely, if you look at the capacity, the possibilities, vMix is like way there, and it's not even that expensive. So it's quite a nice piece of software. Downside is that vMix is solely for Windows computers. So if you are on a Mac, then check out, for example, Ecamm, for example, and there's also other tools there as well. But yes, I have chosen for vMix. That's also the reason why I am showing it on vMix. Again, I am not pointing fingers. I'm not saying that somebody else's product is better or not. You can do whatever is really good for you. But I wanted to show you my setup so that you understand what you see. So in order to do that, I thought it would be cool not to use a desktop this time around, but a laptop. So we're not using this laptop, to be honest, but I want to show you that it's actually possible to do that on a laptop. Now, this is a very powerful laptop. It's a gaming laptop, so it's very important that you pick a very strong PC. If I would say something, I would say a i7, an Intel i7 is preferred. i5 doesn't really work. It does work, but it's not that stable. I am actually using vMix when I'm on the road on my Surface Pro, but it's really struggling. So I would definitely not go for i5. I would go for i7. And vMix is really heavily using their graphical the video card. Again, video card is video out, it's to the monitors, but it's really using that capacity for rendering or calculating the video. And that means that it's important to have a very good product, and the best way of doing that with vMix is with a NVIDIA GeForce video card. So that is what this product has. This is an HP Omen. It's about, I believe, 2 years old already. So it's not the newest of the newest, but it's definitely one that is working quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open it up, and I will be logging in. And once I'm logged in, I will try to get the system up and running. I will close vMix because I want you to see that as well. Closing vMix. Well, it's starting up, so it's maybe a little bit skip this version. I just want to show you where I am. Okay, so now I have to unfortunately do a quick workaround in my vMix. So what I'm doing now is that I'm bringing it in via a other piece of technology that is called NDI, but don't worry about it. We're going to talk about that at a later stage. And I will also add that one in. Oh yeah, I will create a side by side. There you go. All right, there you go. Okay, don't look at the mess because it is quite a messy background, but you know. There you go. So this is this computer right here. You're looking at it. It's wireless, as you can see. Let's start vMix. So vMix is a application that you need to download via vmix.com, and you can actually install it for free for 60 days. So if you want to try it out for yourself and you don't want to spend all the money, you have a 60-day period to do whatever you like, and it is a fantastic product. Don't worry, we'll go into one step at a time. This is also the reason why we're just focusing this time around on the camera input and only the camera input and nothing else after that, because I want it to go as slowly as we can so that you don't have to see everything at once. I am using the 4K version, which is the €700 version of vMix. However, you don't need that. You don't need that for what we're going to do in this workshop, if I can say it like that. What you do need is, of course, the 60-day trial. That is great. I do recommend going for the HD version, which is, on top of my head, €350, because that will allow you to do a lot there. Basically very easy. All right, so first and foremost, I'm going to start with this one right here. So I'm going to start with with the AJA UTAP HDMI. So what I'm going to do is that I am actually going to put this one in the USB slot on the computer. It doesn't really matter which one you get, but I do prefer to use the USB 3 because it's also having a blue insert, so it is expecting a USB 3 version 3, and that is a faster USB than the black ones. So that is something that you might want to take into account. And I'm going to use my trusted camera right here to show you what it looks like. Now, in this particular camera, you do need to set the output. It only goes to HDMI or to SDI. But I do think that it's already put as an HDMI, so I'm pretty sure that it will work from the get-go. So I will be putting in the HDMI cable in the camera, like so. And switching it on is just a matter of flipping the switch, and it's switching on. As you can see, they've got a Sony logo, and there you have it. Now, I'm going to put that one right here in front of me, so that there you go. And I actually see that there's a wait for it. I see that there's a green light there, so that means that it's actually active. And how can I see it? Well, what you need to do is you need to go into vMix. So I've opened vMix. This is the way that opens up. So let me just first say something about the interface. On the left hand side, this is the yellow area. This is what we call preview. This is not going live. This is not going to go to a stream. The green one will go to a stream. That is the one that is going to the stream. Or to make it easier on yourself, because you can change the colors, the right hand side goes to the stream, the left hand side goes to the preview. And below you see some inputs. There's also a $60 version of vMix, and that allows you to have 4 inputs. And that's a little bit limited, but you can do that as well. All right. Going to add input down below. So totally on the left hand side, you see a add input box. I'm clicking on that. and it will pop up this one right here. And there's a menu item right here, and then you go to the fourth one, which is stating camera. So video, DVD, list, camera, right there. And then what I do is that I am actually selecting input. And as you can see, well, you might not see, but the last one is called UT-vid, blah, 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 blah. That is the box, the U tab. That is the one that I'm using. And actually for myself, I've added a sticker to know which one it is. So this is 95 and it ends with 95. So this is the one that I'm actually looking for. And I see that it's now on 720. I do want to have it HD. So that means I'm going to 1920 by 1080, 50p. It looks great. Boom. There you go. So now we have the video right here. So you can see that. By the way, that is you right there. That's you right there. So that is working perfectly. So that is the way that you can bring in your video into your vMix production. Now that is done, I can just remove this one, and I will show you the same thing, but then with a different product, and that is the A10 Mini. Because it's roughly the same. Actually, it's exactly the same steps, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to do that. It does it to be honest. Well, I'm just removing it, but it's a little bit dumb because I need it. Okay, all right, the A10 Mini. But before I do that, let me check if I have some questions in the meantime. Yes, NDI is magic. We will be talking about that at the later stage, but definitely not for now, because I want you to go live as quickly as you can. vMix is so awesome, takes everything I throw at it without any problems. I totally agree. And Kathleen says, blah, 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 one of my favorite technical terms, blah, blah, blah. Indeed. Did I say that? Yeah, I probably did. I probably did. That's just typical for me. All right. Now, the A10 Mini is a product that actually is connected to a power. So you have a power cable that is put into the domains, and what you do is that you just put it in, and it automatically is switched on. So as you can see, it is automatically switched on. I don't have to press a button or something. There you go. It's right there. Now, it does have some additional features that I have to go through, because I can switch between 4 cameras, right, like so. I can actually also fade between cameras. As you can see, it takes a little bit longer than to go from the one to the other one. We do both. Well, most of the time we just say cut, so we like to make it as quickly as we can. But sometimes it makes more sense to have a very nice flow from one to another camera position. And it's also important to switch on the audio, because otherwise you will not have any audio, and that makes life a little bit miserable. So that is the way to how it looks like on the A10. Now, the cool part is that it doesn't, unlike these other tools, this system doesn't matter what you put at them. All inputs have what they call the possibility to change the resolution. So 720 or 1080 or even 4K is not possible. 720, 1080, but also the frame rate, it will also change it. So if you have any questions about frame rate and resolution, let me know, because I will be talking about that then at the later stage as maybe a Q&A session right there. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the same HDMI cable that I put on this one right here, and I will be removing it from this one. I will keep it running because, well, it's still active, and I will put this one into the HDMI in 1. So in the first channel, I'm selecting the first channel, so now channel 1 is active, and the channel 1 is the one that decides what the switcher provides to the outside world. So in my case, once I put this one right here again in my camera, which is for some reason I'm trying to do it wrong. Yep, that was the wrong side. So I'm switching it on again. Don't forget the lid. So now it's open again, like so. And I can put it right here again. And now I'm going to go back to the other screen. Whoop. And then I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I did forget to put in a USB-C cable because that is the one that I need. So because it acts as a webcam. Now, of course, I can also use still the AAJA to put the output of the Blackmagic as HDMI into the computer. However, I just want to show you that it's also possible like so. I do have to admit that the USB-C has a bit more of a more colors than the maybe a little bit too much even. A bit more intense colors than HDMI has. It is up to you what you think about it. And if I go into add input, go to the fourth here, so not video, not DVD list, but camera again, then I again go here, and then I will be able to see, it wasn't there yet, but now it's there, Blackmagic design. Changing doesn't have to be done, so I just put it in, and boom, there you go, right there. So this is that camera right here. So that's the one that I'm using again. So that is what we have so far. So that being said, let's talk about the roadmap again so that we can also finalize this episode. If you go here again, we did talk about the chapter, the camera, which is really cool. So that's the first step. So you do need to have a picture in there. Then we talked about which camera to choose for, which cables, how to insert a video into your computer, and then I showed you how to put it into vMix. This series is really about vMix, so that is something that is important. Now, next to that, the next week I'm going to talk about how to create your own logo, your own splash screen. Just one picture, how we do it exactly, and I'm also going to provide it to you so that you can use it however you please yourself, because it's going to be something that is more generic than what we have. And then next to that, you see the red one right there is going live immediately after that one, because I want you to, again, to go live as quickly as we can. Again, if there are any questions after the fact, please let me know. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the page on Facebook. And that's it that I have for today. I hope that you liked it. I really liked it. I liked the way that people were interacting very much. So I hope to see you next time again. And thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.